Yeah, you just plug it into your phone. There you go. And I've just realised it's not plugged in. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Be prepared to look like a fool at times as well. Hello, welcome to Spread Bookjoy. Today I am celebrating 3 years on Booktube by doing the Behind the Booktube tag. If you're new to the channel, I am Jack. This is my channel. Hello, welcome to Spread Bookjoy. And if you're not new, welcome back to Spread Bookjoy. And it has been 3 years since I published my first video on Booktube, and I've wanted to do this tag for a while. I thought I'd save it and do it for my anniversary because that's coming up. And so yeah, so this should be out on the anniversary of my first video, which I think is the 12th of September, but I'm not sure. I'll have a look. But it's coming up soon because today is the 2nd of September. So I'm going to film this and put it out on my anniversary. But this tag was created by the wonderful Shelley Swearingen, and I'm going to link her original video in the description box below. And she kindly tagged me to do this. I love chatty Booktube tags, so yeah, she tagged me to do this and I was thrilled because I thought it was fascinating. She got these questions from I think another booktuber had a big booktuber had a big huge Q&A, and they answered loads of these questions, and Shelley was like, I want to answer these questions, so she did this, and then she's kind of created this Behind the Booktube tag. So lots of questions about Booktube, but I'm going to talk a bit about my channel first before we get into it, because I think you need a bit of backstory about my channel. And seeing as it's my 3rd year on Booktube and my anniversary video, my Booktube birthday, I can be a bit indulgent and talk about my channel for a little while. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get into the questions. I'm also going to need a lot of water because I've already filmed a few videos, so and this is a chatty one. So yeah, you might see me drinking a bit of water from time to time, or see my water bottle, but it just is what it is. So first of all, I first published my video, my first videos. I've put 2 out, I think, on the same day, maybe 3. I'll put links to them in the description box below. Spread Bookjoy was not a Booktube channel. Let's just put that out there for a start. I didn't start this to be part of a community. I started this channel because I was shielding during the pandemic with my partner, who was vulnerable. I'd stopped working in a school because of that, and we were at home together, and I needed a creative outlet for, you know, just to do something to do. And at that time, I had been watching Booktube. I discovered Booktube probably about a year before that, and I'd been watching quite a lot of people. I started off by watching like Murphy Napier and Daniel Green and like fantasy booktubers, because that's my bag. Then I found Claudia, Spencer's Library, and Marissa and Katie from Books and Things, and I was like, this is great. And I started watching smaller booktubers because they were much more fun to watch and engage with, and you know, I just started watching it. And I remember the conversation where my partner suggested that I start a YouTube channel, because I just finished my master's, and my master's research was all around reading and identity, and how a teacher's reading identity impacts upon the pupils that they teach. And it was really fascinating. But anyway, part of that was I discovered that, you know, to my shock as a teacher who views reading children's books as like a duty, right? I must read them before if I want to recommend books to children, I need to read them first. I used to do that, and it was not that I expected other teachers to read the books. I always recommend that teachers read books though, but I found out that some teachers just don't know anything about children's literature really, beyond, you know, the Roald Dahl and David Walliams and all of that stuff that the children bring in. So they just don't have they do not have the time, right? Especially if they're parents themselves and things like that. They don't have the time to be going off and browsing for children's books. They don't have time to read for themselves, let alone for the children that are in their class. And then they also don't have some of them don't have the inclination, because they prefer teaching maths, they prefer teaching this. They're really experts in those areas. So I wanted like teachers to know about the books that I'd been investigating and reading. So I thought I'm going to start a website. And then it became, maybe I'll start a YouTube channel. My partner was like, yes, YouTube is what you want. People are going to go and search YouTube, or they're going to Google stuff and YouTube videos come up. And you like those bookish videos, right? So anyway, Spread Bookjoy was born. So the aim was Spread Bookjoy. So like, I wanted my videos and my website to recommend books to the right person at the right time, to get a book into the hands of a child and just spark that love of reading, that lifelong love of reading. So that's how my channel started. And it wasn't a community channel. It wasn't that I you know, wanted to talk about myself. I didn't even want to be on camera. So my first videos, I am not on the camera for the first like 3-4 months, I think, of making videos. And I worked my butt off at those videos, and I'm very proud of them still. There's a whole like background and synopsis to the video, to the book. There's, you know, my breakdown, my analysis as a teacher, my recommendations for using it for teaching, and some of them I kind of break down a lesson that I've done with this book. Because I didn't want to be on camera, I would do some artwork related to the book and put that on camera, and so much work and effort and editing and scripting went into these videos, and I'm very, very proud of them. So they will always remain here. And I've got a website. So my website, Spread Book Joy, is still running, though I have not been updating it that often because I used to blog and review my books on there, but I haven't done it for a while. I've actually been blogging and reviewing children's books for a website called Just Imagine, which is a website of book reviews for children, run by the amazing Nikki Gamble. If you've never heard of Nikki Gamble, she's kind of like a children's literature guru for teachers and, you know, academics, really. She is fantastic. And she runs this website, and she has a pool of professional teachers and blah, 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 to review her books and to do a critical review of them. So we're not going to review them and gush about them. Publishers do send us the books, but we don't gush about them. We do a proper critical review of these books, often from a social justice perspective as well. So yeah, I've been doing that, and that's been really interesting. And a couple of those, so what I'm allowed to do is once the review's published on Just Imagine, I can republish it on my blog. So I'm going to get back to my website and my newsletter. I used to send a newsletter out, and people do sign up for my newsletter. So I'm going to start getting back to that because that was the original mission, and my channel has moved way away from that. So I still publish book reviews for children, but very few and far between. So I'd been on YouTube for a while. My videos weren't getting anywhere, and I decided what I really needed to do was I was watching more and more Booktube and engaging with people, and I just wanted to talk about my reading. So I did a, you know, Booktube newbie tag, like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months after I started the channel, and I started putting my face on here. And then before you knew it, I'm like chatting to people and like getting to know other Booktubers. And then before you know it, this kind of like whole whirlwind of community started. So I think that's important for you to have that background before I start answering some of these questions, because it's key to some of the answers I'm going to give, if that makes sense. So here we go. So question number 1 is, what has surprised you the most about Booktube in a good and a bad way? First of all, I'm surprised that I am talking to the camera so naturally all the time now. Surprised that I've done some lives. But I think the thing that surprised me the most is the community aspect. Right, I'm from a generation where my life was lived in real life. I've not lived my life online. I didn't, you know, by the time social media came around, I was in my mid to late 20s. By the time internet dating started being a big thing, and now is like the most common thing, I was well hooked up and like settled. So like the idea of meeting people online and becoming friends with them is still kind of a bit of a strange one for me. I'm from that generation, but I have met some amazing people on here who I consider to be actual true friends. Like, they're real friends. I've met lots of them in real life. Some of them I've yet to meet in real life, but I hope to one day. And you know, that has been the most surprising thing to me. If you'd have said to me when I started this channel that I would be making friends that I chat to every day, like every day I chat to people on Booktubers, I wouldn't have believed you. So that's the first like really good surprise. The other good surprise is that people actually watch my videos. I get to talk about my reading and just waffle about what's in my head, and people watch that. Like, that overwhelms me. That really surprises me. Not overwhelms me, but like in a good way. Like, it's really surprising to me. The bad, well, I suppose it's easy to get overwhelmed doing Booktube. And when I started all of this, I was actually primarily posting daily on Instagram and Booktube, YouTube, I should say. I posted my videos once a week, put them up, didn't do much about engaging. I just was on Instagram constantly. I set up quite a big Instagram following. Within the first 6 to 9 months, I got nearly 3,000 followers on Instagram, and that takes work. And I worked at Instagram, and I realised how much time of a time suck it was. And at the time, I didn't have a job because I was shielding with my partner, so it was fine. When I went back to work, it was not fine, and it got in the way of so many things. So yeah, it started getting overwhelming. And what I would say is, things evolve and things change. So if you set up a Booktube channel, if you set up a blog, if you set up all these things, what you've got to do is every now and again is just stop and take stock, because it can become overwhelming. And if you're being overwhelmed, you've got to stop, take stock and think, why is this overwhelming me? And then just cut things out. Like I've cut out Instagram and I couldn't be happier. I may go back to it one day, so I've not deleted the account. And I'm very proud of all the pictures and stuff on there, but we'll see. But I think those pictures, the need to do those lovely pictures and things like that, I use them on my website as well. So like, I think I want to get back to my website for sure, and writing my reviews on there. And that can fill the void, like the kind of, the need to kind of like do that creative side of things, like taking pictures and writing about books, because I'm a much better writer than I am a talker. That can go back onto my website. So you just have to constantly review what you're doing and whether it makes you happy or not, really. So that can be overwhelming. I watched Olivia from Olivia's Catastrophe talking about her 10 years on, she called it Booknet, like book to net. Like, so she does like everything, like she's got a blog, YouTube, I think she did book Twitter, I think she did Bookstagram, I don't know, she's done a lot. And so if you're doing anything like that, what you need to do is carve out time to read. And also Booktube, you can get so into all of the things that are going on, because it's a great community, to the buddy reads, the group reads, the readathons. There's so much happening and you want to take part. And I did in the beginning, I took part, and you can become quickly very overwhelmed with assigned reading. And I'm a mood reader, and I just find even recently I've had very little time to mood read, and that makes me unhappy. So yeah, that's one bad downside to it, but it's not a bad problem. Like, it's a problem because you've got so many wonderful things you want to take part in, right? So yeah, that's the downside to it for me, the surprising side to it for me. But yeah, so that's question one. Question two is, how do you balance reading and Booktube with the rest of your life? So I have books in lots of different formats. If I didn't have audiobooks, I don't think I'd get any reading done these days, because the majority of my reading is done via audiobook when I'm doing other things. So that's one way I balance it. But I have to say that when it comes to reading, I made a decision about a year and a half ago that I need to prioritise reading over the related things. So a Booktube, my blogging, my Instagram at the time, reading has to come first. So if I've got very little time in the day and I could watch a YouTube video or make one or read, I'm going to read because reading's got to come first. And if you're doing all of this, you can very quickly like knock the time away from reading. So I have a very busy life professionally. I've got a lot of friends and family as well. So socially, professionally, I'm very, very busy. And also, you know, so I want to read every day. And usually it's via audiobook. If I want to read every day, I read at least via audiobook every day. If I have time to sit down and physically read, which is just bliss, then I'm going to prioritise that over sitting and editing a video or watching this or watching a YouTube video. But like anything in life, if you think it's worth doing, if it's worthwhile to you and it makes you happy and brings you joy, you will make time for it. And reading is that thing for me. Number three, have you ever thought about starting a Patreon? Yes, I have actually. I love Patreon. I've actually had several people that I've been a patron of on Patreon because I just appreciate them and their work, and they have been YouTubers and I appreciate them so much. I've got one that I currently subscribe to. They're not Booktubers, sorry, but they're people that have, when I've had time in my life when I've had real, you know, emotional like horrors going on, they've been an escape for me. And they're generally artists or creatives actually in some way, because I find those videos really soothing. And I do think Patreon is great, because if you're a content creator and you want to make good content, and it takes time and it takes effort, and you know, I think people could be rewarded for that effort if they're doing something that's valuable to you. But I do think I'd need to provide some value, and at the moment I just don't have the time to provide like regular value to a Patreon community like a book club or whatever. I run a book club, run it for free with my friends, but that's fun and we get to do it with no pressure. But I feel like if there were people were paying me, I'd feel like, no, I'd need to do something regularly. I do have a coffee account. I set that up some months ago. The link is in my about kind of bio. I always put the link in my videos, and no one's bought me a coffee yet. And I mean, this isn't a call out to people to buy me a coffee, but I did want some way. I thought if people want to contribute, then it contributes to my website. So my website costs me money, right? My website Canva that I use for making free resources for my website. I use it for my thumbnails and everything as well. But I actually spend money on my website, which is for teachers. So, you know, I think that's worth, if I can recoup some money for that, that's fine. And if people want to do that as kind of like a tip jar, then that's fine, right? If people like my content, they want to do that, there it is. So yeah, so I've got a Coffee account, and some point in the future I would like to do Patreon or similar, or like, you know, Coffee, you can set up regular payments on Coffee, but I think I'd have to provide value for it, and I just don't have the time at the moment to commit to providing something regularly for people. Have you made any mistakes on Booktube? 2 that I could think of. One is accepting unsolicited reviews from indie authors. I've done that once and I will never do it again, because I didn't enjoy the book, and then I had to make a review for this book, and the person was lovely because I did have some questions for them and I'm back and forth to them, and I didn't want to put a negative review out. And I think I did a pretty good job of putting out a review that was balanced and yet stated what the issues were I had with the book. I will never take an unsolicited review copy from any indie author, so I'm just putting that out there now. I know there are a lot of indie authors on Booktube who do need our support, so what I've said to people when they've contacted me in the past now is that if I look at their book and I think it's one I'll enjoy, I will buy it, and I'm helping them that way. And then if I happen to like it, I'll review it. If I don't like it, I'm not going to review it, because I wouldn't want to do that to indie authors. They need like promotion, and I'm not going to promote a book that I didn't like just because someone gave me a free copy. So yeah, that was a mistake in the beginning. And taking, you know, like joining in too many like review things where you're expected to review like tandem collective stuff and things like that. But then also getting involved in Booktube drama. Now, I've not got involved in Booktube drama, but one time 2 Booktubers were having like quite a very vicious spat, and I happened to like feel quite strongly about one person's opinion, and I made a comment on a video, not to the person but just a supportive comment to one of them, and I just immediately regretted it, because not because I'd said anything awful or whatever or blah blah, but I just thought, like, this is not my argument here. What am I getting involved in this for? I don't come onto Booktube to get involved in drama or arguments. And yeah, I mean, I really appreciate it when, and I would call out anything that I thought was wrong, and I'll come back to that in a second. But at the same time, you know, when this was in a spat between 2 people that got out of hand, and I just wish I'd never like put my 2 pence in. And I didn't get involved in the drama. I didn't get into arguments with anybody. No one really chastised me over my comment. My comment wasn't bad. It was just that I suddenly afterwards went, no, what are you doing? So those are things. So don't do that. And then number 5, do you have any advice for new booktubers? I've got plenty of advice, and actually it's advice for life mainly. So there's some specific advice that I'll give you that's Booktube related, but then there's also some advice that is just life related too when I started thinking about it. So the first thing was to make what makes you happy. So don't make videos that you think people want to see. Make videos that make you happy, because then you'll be passionate and your passion will come across and you'll enjoy it. If you start making videos, like if I, for instance, right, the Booker Prize, I could care less about the Booker Prize apart from I love watching the content on it. But if I started saying, right, I'm going to read every Booker book, I would be the most unhappy person. I'd probably quit Booktube actually, because that's not me. But I know it would get views because people want Booker content. So I could do that, right? But I'm not going to, because it just doesn't make me happy. Likewise, I could do TBR videos, or I could do TBR games, or I could do regular Friday reads. Those things don't make me happy, so I don't do them. So there. So do what makes you happy, and that's just as good advice for life as with Booktube. And the other thing is don't compare yourself to other people. And this is kind of similar to do what makes you happy. Don't compare yourself to other Booktubers. Don't compare yourself to like what they've got behind them. Don't compare the way they present themselves. Don't compare their subscriber count, the comments, the likes that they get. Don't compare yourself to them in terms of the amount of videos they put out. Don't compare yourself, and you'll be a lot happier. And again, good advice for Booktube, good advice for life. Don't overcommit to anything, because once you overcommit, it starts to become like a job, and it is a hobby. Believe me, you're not going to make money off of Booktube, even if you get, you know, maybe if you hit 100,000 subscribers, but no, like you'd have to be Daniel Green or Murphy Napier for that. I think the days of book channels getting that many subscribers, if you're not someone who's like affiliated with publishing or has some unique selling point, you know, those days are gone. The algorithm, the Booktube community, there's room for everybody, but you're not doing it for this. You know, if you think you're going to get thousands and thousands of subscribers and earn money off of Booktube, then you're in the wrong niche on YouTube, basically. So yeah, so don't do that. And so don't overcommit, because it is a hobby, and don't buy too many things. So this is very specific. You don't need to buy a lot. I have a Canva account and a website, but those are not for YouTube. They're for my passion project, which is sharing children's literature and creating resources for that for teachers. This YouTube you can do with just your video camera, your camera on your phone. I also have spent, in terms of, aside from the camera on my phone, I have bought, I bought a ring light for the winter, because this is the UK, and that cost me about 15 quid on Amazon. I've also got a stand that my phone is on now, and I had one before this and it broke, but I had that one for like 2.5 years, and this is a big tall one. That one was a little desk one that cost me like 7 quid, but it lasted me for 2 years. A stand is a must, right? When you're trying to prop your phone up on books and stuff, it just doesn't work. So get a stand. I would highly recommend a stand. But other than that, you don't need anything else. I have a mic. I think I like my sound better with a microphone, so I got this lapel mic. I got 2 of these for like 15 quid in Amazon, I think. But yeah, I got a lapel mic, and it's still going 3 years later. So yeah, you just plug it into your phone. There you go. And I've just realised it's not plugged in. Oh my god! Oh my gosh! Oh, I've not plugged my mic in. I've not plugged my mic in that whole time. Also, be prepared for re-recording and things getting interrupted. I am not re-recording this video. You're just going to have to do with the rubbish sound at the start of the video. That's fine. But it kind of proves you don't need the lapel mic. It's just my little luxury. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so annoying. You know what happened was, I wanted to watch the video of this that I'd recorded previously to see where I'd finished off. And to hear the sound, you have to take the microphone out. And I forgot to put it back in. So yeah, be prepared to look like a fool at times as well. Oh dear. Number 6, what are your thoughts on the YouTube algorithm? I don't know, it's a mystery to me. You think you know what it's about, but like the YouTube algorithm, the Instagram algorithm, I hate with a passion. That's another video for another time. You know, if you try and do things for the algorithm, you're just going to come unstuck, because the algorithm is like unfathomable to me. 7A, how do you decide what videos to make? And 7B, are you ever overwhelmed with video ideas? So 7A, I decide to make videos based on the time I've got and what's available to me. Like today, I've got lots of chatty videos I'm making because I've got time. But yeah, whatever I'm interested in as well, really. And I'm always overwhelmed with ideas. I have got lists and lists and lists of video ideas, some of which come to fruition and some don't. And I did see some advice which said, if you ever have an idea for a video, just do the video, because if you wait, it will sit there for months, maybe years before you make it. And this is true. I've got video ideas dating back 3 years I've still not made, but I want to one day. 8, have you ever regretted posting a video? No, which is nice, right? That's good. Number 9 is 2 parts. 9A, are the number of views and subscribers meaningful to you? And 9B, are the number of views and subscribers a measurement of success? Well, these are kind of related, right? If they are meaningful to you, because you don't make videos not to be watched. And I'm not going to lie, when you don't get a lot of views on a video, it kind of hurts. And usually they're the ones you put the most effort into. Review videos, like single book reviews, they tend to not do very well at all in the beginning, but then they tick away because they're evergreen, right? So they don't do well in the beginning, but they tick away. I've got a review for, I'll tell you what, that surprised me the other day. I didn't notice it had been ticking away, but I've got a review for this book, The Last Bear by Hannah Gold, and suddenly it's clocked up 1,000 views. Like in the beginning, it probably had about 60 views when I put it out. So yeah, so that's just ticking away there. And the more views a video gets, the more the algorithm pushes it. One of my best, most successful video of all time is my book on where to start with Terry Pratchett's, my video on where to start with Terry Pratchett's Discworld. So yeah, and that one, I wasn't expecting that to do as well. It does, and it's my #1 video every month. So there you go. Yeah, views and subscribers, they do matter. The number of subscribers does matter, but you shouldn't fixate on it, okay? So when I try and ignore the numbers to a greater extent, but the first 100 subscribers that you get, they're the most hard won of all of your subscribers, I think. Like, I will never forget, like, at that point, every single subscriber is just like, oh my gosh, thank you. And to this day, I'm so happy when my subscriber count goes up. If I get up one day and my subscriber count's gone up by 1 or 2, I'm like, brilliant. It goes down by 1 or 2, I feel a bit sad about it. But at the same time, it's not how I measure the success of my channel. In a way, it is a measure of the success of my channel, because I like to see that people are watching and I like to see that people like me enough to subscribe. However, if you fixated on that as the only measure of success, then you wouldn't be a very happy person, unless you're the sort of person who's got like exponential like success, where there are people who started well after me on Booktube who, in fact, I think most people that I know who started later than I have got more subscribers than me there. So I think that happens. And this is why I say don't compare yourself, right? But I'm very, very happy for every single one of my subscribers. So yeah, that's meaningful to me, because these are people, thank you everyone, who choose to stick with me and watch my videos and listen to my nonsense. So thank you. Yes, it's meaningful to me, but like, it's not the only measure of success. Are you disappointed by the growth on your channel? No, I'm shocked that my channel has grown to what it is. So I'm very pleased with the growth on my channel. Who wouldn't want to grow like really, really quickly and get thousands and thousands of subscribers and blah, blah, blah. Who wouldn't? But I'm not at all disappointed by my growth, because I just think it's wonderful. So there. Have you ever thought about quitting Booktube? Not fully. I think maybe once I thought about quitting it when it was just getting too overwhelming. But no, Booktube I love. Of all the bookish things I've ever set up, I love Booktube. I love it the most. And I don't see myself quitting it ever, really, not fully. I might do one day, I might completely change my mind, but at the moment, no. 12A, what are the most touching comments? Oh my gosh. People are just so sweet and so lovely, really complimentary. I've like regular commenters on my channel who I've chatted with quite regularly over the years, one of whom I email back and forth every now and again. And like, I just feel like the most touching comments are the ones where people say that like they find my videos soothing or relaxing, or that, it's been like they come at the right time for them if they're having a difficult day. And someone once told me that it really helped with their chronic pain, and I just, that just, oh my gosh, that's so wonderful. And yeah, so those are the kind of my most touching comments, really. The most negative comments I get, and I only ever get them when I post a book that a video that features a book with LGBTQ plus representation, particularly trans representation, and that only ever happens because if you watch me regularly, I read those books regularly, and it only ever happens if I put that on the thumbnail. Okay, so if I have the trans flag on my thumbnail, if I have any mention of LGBTQIA plus on my thumbnail, rainbows, whatever, then you get trolls who come and comment and then tell me that things like, this is insane, you're promoting this for children, whatever. And it's just like, please. So those people, really offensive people, I usually block and delete. I don't engage with them. I try not to, because I just think, you know what, life's too short to argue with these mad people on the internet. They're only coming to troll me. I'm only a small channel, so I'm just going to get into a back and forth with someone who's, that's what they want. So I just delete. But yeah, I find it interesting that the only negative comments I get about that, and then I always lose subscribers when I put out a video that has trans flag or anything about LGBTQIA plus on the thumbnail. So they're people that clearly don't watch my videos and subscribe to me anyway, because they would know if they watch some of my other videos where it's just like a wrap up and I just talk about a book that happens to be queer, they would know it. So they don't watch me, and they're homophobes. So bye-bye and good riddance is what I think of that. Okay, last, in regards to Booktube, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Still doing it, hopefully. I don't know what it will look like. I don't know what I'll be looking like. Eek. But that's not the point here. But I don't know what Booktube will evolve into for me. It has evolved year on year on year, and there are so many things I'm so proud of doing on Booktube. I think my most I love my videos about children's books. I absolutely adore some of the videos I've done where I've done some serious research to recommend things. One of my favourite videos is on why adults read middle grade. Go and check that out if you haven't. But I love my FOMO book club that I set up with Alice, Gemma and Alice and Gemma about books we've missed out on, and we've got over 100 members of our book club, and we read with people from all around the world. I mean, I read with people from all around the world all the time, and I love it. So yeah, long may it continue, long may it continue. So if you're still here, this is a long video. I try not to put videos out that are longer than 25 minutes, but you know, this is that chatty video. I don't know who's going to stick around and watch it till the end, but if you are here and you stuck around till the end, leave me a little birthday cake emoji for my Booktube birthday, and hopefully I'll see you again here soon. I forgot to tag people. By the time this goes out, I suspect most people have done this tag. But I just want to quickly, and I've not got my mic on, but I'm just doing this while I'm remembering. I'm going to tag Charlotte from Chatty the Mad Chatter, also called Chatty, and I'm going to tag Gareth from Books, Songs and Other Magic. And I think that's all I'm going to tag, because I think everybody else I know got tagged for this, either by the original tagger or by someone that I know who's done it, because by the time this goes out, everyone will have done this tag. So hopefully you guys haven't done it. Bye!